Welcome back to the Tom Anderson Show, the best company on your morning drive in Alaska on KVNT 1020 AM and 92.5 FM. Online at tomandersonshow.com, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Alaska time. Want to join us? Call 907-357-5868. That's 357-5868. Good morning, America. Here's Tom Anderson.
Well, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to talk about the sizzle and the bling of gambling. And, you know, now on YouTube, the sensation seems to be slot channels. And that's where folks play their slot machines. And at first blush, at first glance, you may think, oh, that's not fun. But it really is, especially when the host, the YouTube channel host, is entertaining, is thoughtful, is engaging. And I have interviewed, who have I interviewed? I've interviewed Slot Lady, Lady Luck, Slot Traveler, Scott Richter, the Big Jackpot, and all thoughtful guests to be sure. But this next guest is someone near and dear to my heart. We become buddies, and I follow him certainly on his YouTube channel. His name is John. He is NJ Slot Guy, New Jersey, NJ Slot Guy. John, how are you this morning?
Good, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And obviously on, such a day, D-Day, my grandfather is actually on the beaches of Normandy.
Wow, 75 years ago. I mean, think about that. We were playing some Fox News clips, and for those fans of yours that watch your YouTube channel, a lot of them, you know that, bro. They bleed red, white, and blue. They're American. They're pro-law enforcement. They're pro-military. And they like fun, reasonably responsible gambling, and that's what you do. Thanks to your grandfather, by the way, for that. Now, you're New Jersey, so you're from New Jersey. I know you're married. You got a family there. And how long have you lived on the East Coast? Were you born and raised there?
Born and raised there, still here.
I love it, man. I can hear it. I hear the Jersey in you. I love it. When we first talked, I'm like, that dude's definitely from Jersey. Well, the no-brainer question right off the bat is, when did you start gambling? Slot machines are a big deal. A lot of people in Alaska and nationally that listen to my show, Minnesota, Wisconsin, we got Colorado, a lot of folks that write in that say, love your show. And they love the gambling themes, slot machines in particular. How did you get started, and what prompted you to start a YouTube channel? Because I know it's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. So, great story of the wonders of YouTube is I was just sitting in my living room with my father, and I was like, Dad, what's a slot machine that they got rid of down in Atlantic City where we are, and let's look it up on YouTube. I'm sure somebody took a video or a picture or something. And just by doing that, I'm like, what is this? All of a sudden, I see all these slot channels. So that night, I go down, a rabbit hole for about 3-4 hours of just watching slot channel after slot channel. And then it clicked to me, like, you should be doing this. So, that's officially how I got started, and that was summer of last year. So about a year ago, I started my channel August 17th of last year.
Wow. And how many, explain how YouTube works. A lot of us are on Facebook, and so we get that. Facebook's free, YouTube's free. YouTube's owned by Google, by the way. My ad agency does a lot of Google YouTube ads. We're certified with that, and it's very popular for those marketing. And then also the spectators, the people like you and me and others that listen that watch YouTube channels. It's prolific, actually. It's almost taking over cable television because of the notoriety and the audience level. Pretty soon they're probably going to do movies and TV shows like Netflix and HBO today with Game of Thrones. So look, HBO Now. Let's look at how you brought that in. I mean, it's a channel, correct? And then people can subscribe.
Correct. That's exactly what happens. And I mean, there's more people than not. I mean, including myself. You just poke around, you click on videos. You don't necessarily subscribe to the person that's putting up the video. You're just watching something real quick. Now, if everybody did subscribe that watched the video, oh my God, we would all have, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but that's not the normal thing to do. So the people that usually subscribe to you are the ones that want to see more of you, hear your voice, hear your commentary, watch your, videos. Otherwise, a lot of people are just, pick and go. I happened to come across this video. I'm going to watch 2 minutes of it, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing, like I was saying with the rabbit hole. I didn't necessarily subscribe to everybody's slot channel when I was watching the videos. I started doing that when I started becoming a slot channel myself. And I said, I'm going to support everybody in the community because I would want them to do the same for me.
It makes sense.
That's my big thing.
It makes sense. NJ, like New Jersey folks, NJ Slot
Correct.
Guy, you gotta like his channel. You gotta hit the little bell and hit it again where it shows the wiggling, and that means that you're gonna get the updates when he uploads something. I just saw that you uploaded this morning some slot play. Well, now let's get into the fact that you can, and then we'll get off YouTube itself, and God bless YouTube, but with regard to the monetization, so you do it for fun, but you also do it because you want to make some bucks, because it's time consuming. And one way to do that is, after so many views, so many subscribes, so much engagement, you can start making money, but that's based on the ads. So one thing, my guess is you would ask people listening, and I know this will be made into a video so people will listen to it on your channel, you want them to watch the ads because that monetizes you, correct?
Yes, correct. That's actually a big key factor. I don't know what the algorithms are, like per ads or per views or per anything of that sort, because I actually just got monetized after 10 months of putting up videos. I just got monetized 2 weeks ago. So I'm now becoming, slightly familiar with being monetized and all the aspects of it. I've been looking into it. But before this, I was just like, I'm going to record my slot play. I'm going to put it up on my YouTube channel. Let's see what happens. And it just happened to explode, Tom.
It exploded. You have over 20,000. I mean, that quickly. My God, you've done that in 6-7 months. It's prolific. Now, in terms of when you videotape, so you bring in, I presume you bring in a cell phone, a smartphone. Do you have to get permission? And what casinos do you choose? Is it based regionally, or are you going to start traveling throughout the nation to hit other casino hotspots?
Tom, my goal, and I promised all of my subscribers and fans this, was once I become monetized, I want to travel around this country. I want to meet you at your casino, and I would love to hit every single casino in every single state. Now, I know that that's a very, very wide goal, and it's going to take a while to do something like that. But touching base on what you said, I need to get approval before I would even travel to a casino, because you can't just say, I'm going to go to, Indiana, and I'm going to just pull out my phone and start recording. Imagine if I take that whole trip and 2 minutes into recording, they say, hey, sorry, you can't do that.
So your point is that casinos have rules. So if someone's listening, gets excited, watches your channel, watches others, and says, you know what, I'm going to do that, your first lesson to, budding future YouTube channel hosts would be you have to get permission if you're videotaping anything in a casino. The other thing is you talk about going regionally. Well, there are Indian casinos. I look at Reno. I look at Lake Tahoe. I look at, obviously, Vegas, which is the big gun. I mean, I went to law school in Minnesota, Mystic Lake, and Treasure Island, not the Vegas Treasure Island, but they have their own Indian casino there, Washington, Oregon. You've got your work cut out for you, brother. If you're at Biloxi, we talked about the South. There are casinos all over the place, aren't there?
Oh, yeah. I think there has to be at least one casino in every state at this point. And
except Alaska, and Hawaii. I know we don't, because we don't. Yeah, and Hawaii doesn't either. Sadly, I wish.
Right. So I have to knock those two states off unless something happens in the meantime. Tom, maybe you can open up your own casino in Alaska.
That's right.
I'll come to it.
I love it. Well, let's get into game strategy. And when people watch you and I watch you, first of all, are you inclined to pick a certain machine? Because a lot of us here in Alaska and the Pacific Northwest, talking about Oregon, Washington, Idaho, that listen to my show, they zoom on either to the casinos in Washington or Oregon, the Indian casinos, or they dart into Reno, or they dart into Vegas, and they want to play slots, and they want to get their points. And we'll talk next segment about points as well. But do you have a favorite? Do you have a new? Do you have an old? And is it based on anything, or is it just your druthers?
So I don't have necessarily like one favorite machine. Like, let's say my local casino, I go to it and I say, okay, I'm going right to that machine. I'm going to play it no matter what before I leave. I don't do that. Luckily, at my casino, there are a lot of old school machines. And by old school, I mean those old one single pay line, 2 or 3 credit machines, because that's what that's what I was introduced to when I was 21 and in the casino. That's what I saw. That's what I liked. That's what I hit all my jackpots on. So it would be more of a genre of what I go to first, and it's those old school machines. But of course, I play the new school as well to keep up. Nobody wants to see me playing the same exact machines over.
You gotta play the lock and link. You gotta play the Buffalo, man. Okay, we're gonna come right back. His name is John. He is NJ Slot Guy. That's his channel on YouTube. Folks, we're talking about gambling, gaming, slot machines. We're gonna get into strategy and algorithms. That's coming up next, right here on the Tom Anderson Show.
Welcome back to the Tom Anderson Show, the best company on your morning drive in Alaska on KVNT 1020 AM and 92.5 FM. Online at tomandersonshow.com, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Alaska time. Want to join us? Call 907-357-5868. That's 357-5868. Good morning, America. Here's Tom Anderson.
48 minutes after the hour. Good morning, everybody. We're talking with John, NJ Slot Guy, about YouTube and slot channels, but he was very thoughtful to remind first segment about D-Day, 75 years. God bless our troops and God bless our veterans. John's grandfather stormed the beaches of Normandy. God bless him. Most definitely. John, we're talking about gambling, which is kind of intertwined in the American ethos now if it's done responsibly, because it's so much fun. And you mentioned going around regionally to different casinos, and that's your next step now that you're monetized on YouTube. And we encourage people to watch those ads when they play, and that generates some revenue for you to pay for all your effort because it's expensive. But when you get to, and I want to get into perks and the MGM or whatever the card, there's Gold Nugget, the different values in getting a player's card as well. We'll talk about that briefly, but when you get there, what is your strategy? Are you willing to reveal it to people? I know some of it's fun on YouTube, but I'm talking about when the YouTube channel's off and when John is playing slots. Is there any tips you can give us?
So, how everybody has a theory or what they do personally that feels like it helps them win. Like, stopping the reels or pulling out their card or switching between one credit and two credit and denomination and stuff like that. Now, I'm a realist. I'm in IT. I'm a big mathematics guy, probability, statistics. There is no way that you're going to beat this computer that's sitting in front of you. So all of those theories, to me, are completely out the window. I don't agree with them. The only strategy that I use is what's used in the stock market, which is called the stop-loss order. And what I do is, and you can hear me do it while I'm filming, is I'll set a precedent of when I'm going to walk away from this machine. So if I put in $500 and I get it up to $800, I'll say to all the subscribers, the fans watching, okay, guys, I'll leave at $650. I'm not going to leave unless it's at $650. And you can potentially win more. And if I win more, then I move that number up. That's exactly what you do when you own a stock in the stock market. You set it to a price, and you say, okay, if it goes below this price, I'm selling it. It's the same exact theory. That's the only thing that I use when it comes to playing, because it's the only realistic thing that's going to work. You're not going to beat a computer by pulling in your card. It has no connection to the random number generator anyway, regardless of what you're playing.
That makes sense. It totally makes sense. And you know what? The other thing is, so algorithmically, I mean, you and I talked about this last night in advance of the show. Some things I think of are like, and I know you can't speak for Bally or Aristocrat or ITG, the different companies. You're not representing them, and you didn't design the computer CPU and chips. So we're speculating a little bit from your experience, and I can attest to my experience. I have thought like maybe at the entrance of a casino, or maybe in the evening, it's going to be less loose. pay out less than it would in the morning when maybe at 10 a.m. the casinos want you to be in there gambling, not out in the sun, let's say in Vegas, so they make them a little looser. Your point is you have not seen this and you have not seen placement or machine. Would you say, though, that there is some luck involved? I do think some machines algorithmically are set looser than others. Is that fair? Because I've been on some for hours where I just lost penny slots, and then others I've won immediately. Or is it just the luck of when I sat down and serendipity? What's your view?
That's exactly what it is, Tom. And I mean, I've been at the casino for all times of the day, for all days of the week, and I can honestly tell you, it does not matter. It is pure luck. They don't hit more at night than they do in the morning. I've won fantastically at night. I've lost fantastically at night. It's all the matter of when this random number generator is going to hit for you.
And what about denominations? What about if I'm playing cents or 25 cents or 50 cents? You see Scott Richter. You've met with Scott Richter. You met him. Where'd you meet him? In Colorado?
The first time I met him he was coming to Atlantic City, and he was doing something called Slot Fest East. I had just been down there, but I was like, you know what? This is my whole demeanor. I want to support everybody.
Totally. And he's the big jackpot, by the way. Someone might say, who's Scott Richter? Some know him, some don't. The big jackpot on YouTube, he's a sensation, and you're right behind him, but he's the big gun right now.
Yes, and once I saw that he was coming, I signed up for his group poll, and I didn't even want to be in it. I just wanted to be there to support him. That's it. I wanted no FaceTime, no camera time, nothing of that sort. I just wanted to introduce myself to him and show him, hey, I support you. You know what I mean? Because you're somebody to look up to, being, one of those top slot channels.
That's right. So, and the point is, he gambles a lot, but he has played $1,000 pools, $500 pools, multiple, not just once. And you told me last night that he had a video on the Big Jackpot channel that proves how much did he spend and lose, to kind of point out that it's not about the higher denomination and people do lose.
I believe it was Watch Me Lose, the title of the video, Watch Me Lose $100,000 in 10 minutes.
Jeez.
And I'm so happy he did that, Tom, because it showed everybody that, if you're playing just high denominations, you're not just going to hit all the time. It's so random.
Yeah.
Sometimes he plays on a 45-minute live video and he hits, 20 jackpots. But that video right there just proved it. Look how much money you can lose in a matter of 10 minutes by playing those.
So you have to be careful. When you talk about money management, it's a big deal. Now, another thing, it's a no-brainer to get a player's card. And I know that you have membership with some. I have membership with some. You even get free play as a perk. Do you think that it's really important for anybody playing a slot to get that player's card, even if they don't think they're going to be back at that casino, just so they're in the system to get free rooms and everything else?
Absolutely. Every casino that I ever walk into, even if I don't plan on going there ever again, I will absolutely get a player's card. I did it in Aruba because you never know when you're going to be back in Aruba. Hey, you have this player card and you're going to get some perks out of it. Why not do it? It's a free sign-up. It costs you absolutely nothing. I mean, like you said, it's not rocket science. You might as well do it. And when you sign up for a brand, like, for example, Golden Nugget.
Yeah, I was about to say, give a shout-out. Where do you go and where do you recommend in Atlantic City?
So, sadly as it sounds, and this is where I'm from, and I'm trying to put Atlantic City on the map, I'm not getting a lot of responses from these casinos down there. But the one loyal place that I have been loyal to, and obviously they've been loyal to me back, they give me approval to film, is Golden Nugget. So that's where I'm going to go because I'm able to record there, and they have no problem with it. So as much as there's 9 casinos down there, that's the main casino I'm going to go to.
Absolutely. And you get free play, you get rooms, you get some food and beverage comps. The same thing with MGM. I've been as high as platinum with MGM, and that's Mirage and MGM, and of course Bellagio where I stay. And then the Wynn has it separate, and you got Caesar's Palace Group with Paris and others. And so your point is you got to investigate it a little because free play and slot tournaments and everything come in and out. Now, another thing, for those on the East Coast listening, and for those listening to this channel, you gotta follow NJ Slot Guy. That's John, who we're speaking with, because you're gonna start doing group pools. Now, real quickly, because we're almost out of time, how does that work, and when is your next group pool?
I actually have one in 2 days on Saturday down at the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City.
Wow, on the 8th. Oh, I love it at the Golden Nugget. And how does that work?
So what I do is a lot different from the other slot channels because I tend to differ from everybody. Everybody meets up. There's an entrance fee to join the group pool. Mine are high limit, so it's like $400 or $500 a person or a couple. I'll let them both join. And what I do differently is I let them pick the machine. Instead of just saying, hey, we have these machines, this is what we're going to play, only I'm hitting the buttons, nobody else. I let them come up, I let them use their player's card, I let them hit the buttons themselves, and I let them pick the machine.
What happens if there's a big win? Who does the taxes?
So what I do is, obviously differs from a lot, is if you played in my group full time, you put your card in and you're hitting the button, obviously you're the one that has to fill out all the forms for the jackpots. So what I do is I get taxes taken out of any jackpot that is hit because it's not fair that a singular person has to pay taxes at the end of the year.
No, of course not. So you just pay it there, and so then when everyone gets their net. No, and I think people can win from that. Other slot channel hosts are doing the same thing. And so you're going to start spreading out now that you're monetized, and I know you've got your slot bot announcement, and you're going to have slot bots out there helping you and videotaping. You have so many things forthcoming. I'm excited. John, I'd like to make this a regular. Is this something that we can do in the future? Maybe when I'm back from Nevada, would you be willing to do that?
Tom, I would do this every day with you. You are a joy to speak to. So
I love it,
you
man.
Want me on here, I'm 100% in.
You're the best, baby. Okay, his name is John. He's in New Jersey. It's NJ Slot Guy. I recommend you subscribe to his channel. Watch his videos. You're going to love it. John, we'll get you next time. I'm Tom Anderson. Stay with us.